Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the newspaper show and I'm Hina Gambhir. So let's get started with what's making headlines as far as the Times of India this morning is concerned. The biggest news today, the Times of India today is leading with, is about the heat wave in Delhi and NCR. City sizzles, North India globe's hottest region on Tuesday. That's right. It was the warmest May Delhi in Delhi. In fact, warmest May Day in Delhi in about 18 years. That's the biggest story here. Safdarjung recorded 46 degrees Celsius as the maximum temperature, which was about 6 degrees above normal, highest in May since 1998, equivalent to 46 degrees recorded back in 2002. Parliament, in fact, went a little higher. 47.6 degrees was the temperature recorded yesterday. Top hotspots in other parts of North India were Churu in Rajasthan, 50 degrees Celsius. It was the world's hottest spot on Tuesday. Hisar in Haryana recorded 48 degrees Celsius. Banda in Uttar Pradesh recorded 48 degrees Celsius, and Allahabad in UP also recorded 47.6 degrees Celsius. So the heat wave is continuing in the national capital and other parts of North India. Then there's another news. Swarms of locusts headed to Delhi. The Locust Warning Organization, part of Union Ministry of Agriculture, has predicted attacks in urban areas of Rajasthan besides Jaipur, where swarms have already entered. UP is preparing for the possibility of a second attack as well, and the swarm in Jaipur and another from Indore are possibly headed towards Delhi. This is very important. The LWA has blamed Pakistan for not eliminating the insect's biggest breeding ground in Balochistan. This is another big story here. Then on the other hand, India firm won't step back from areas where Chinese troops have intruded. Tough stand, a departure from usual diplomacy. Very interesting. India will remain firm on the ground in the ongoing troop confrontations in eastern Ladakh, where it said China has violated the unresolved boundary and obstructed Indian patrols, even as New Delhi remains committed to a peaceful and diplomatic resolution. So here is that story, and all the details you can find here. Scale up battle preparedness. This is what Chinese President Xi Jinping has told its military. Then Rahul Gandhi, Congress MP, has said that we are not key decision maker. This remark by Rahul Gandhi has sparked a Maharift talk. Rahul Gandhi's statement on Tuesday that the Congress was not only supporting the Maharashtra government and was not the key decision maker, and NCP Chief Sharad Pawar's Monday evening meeting with Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray at the latter's Matoshri residence fueled the theory that barely 6-month-old Mahavikas Aghadi regime may be charting its course through troubled political waters amid the escalating COVID crisis in the state. Then, no rush, government will fall on its own. This is what Devendra Fadnavis, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, has said. BJP will not seek president's rule in the state, clarified leader of the opposition Devendra Fadnavis, who said that we are in no rush. This government will fall due to its internal contradictions. Then Manish Sisodia has targeted due Vice Chancellor over college bodies. The tussle over the governing bodies of 28 Delhi University colleges between Delhi government and the university escalated on Tuesday when Deputy CM held Vice Chancellor Yogesh Tyagi responsible for the standoff. And as far as India's corona count is concerned, Times of India is reporting that India's COVID count is set to cross 1.5 lakh. Fresh cases dipped to 5.5 thousand. 172 deaths were reported, which is the second highest number so far. Over 64,000 have recovered as well. Then ICMR has suggested lowering test price in private labs. The ICMR has suggested lowering of prices for COVID-19 testing in the private sector while removing the price cap of 4,500 rupees for the real-time polymerase chain reaction test, which is RT-PCR test. That's another important story. Then WHO. After WHO's move, ICMR says that HCQ is absolutely safe. After rejecting PIL, Supreme Court suo motu takes up the migrant workers' plight. In fact, lawyers had written to the court on migrants. Perhaps that led to the change in heart. Doctors protest change in quarantine rules. That's another story. Doctors moved the Supreme Court on Tuesday against the centre's recent quarantine SOP, which did away with the earlier mandatory 14-day government-arranged quarantine facilities for all doctors and healthcare workers who treated COVID patients for 14 days continuously. Then a society of 9,000 has been sealed after 3 positive cases were reported. This has happened in Noida. Residents are protesting. Pragati Maidan underpass work is going to begin, and Gujarat salt companies are offering migrants double pay. Kutch salt refineries are offering double salary to migrants who return to work. Punjab government plans to help migrant laborers find some work. Then in Uttar Pradesh's Gorakhpur, bats were found dead, and that led to panic. A tigress has given birth to triplets in Sariska. Another story on the front page only. Then and after about 63 days, 2 stadiums in city reopened for SAI trainees. Then government has made Arogya Setu open source. What's even interesting is that the center has launched a bug bounty program to partner with Indian researchers and developers in order to test and improve the app's security. And back to boards after 2 months. So this is how a classroom perhaps can look like once the schools reopen. And this, you can see how students are sitting with proper social distancing maintained here. Students being briefed about social distancing norms before their class 10th examination in Kozhikode on Tuesday. Nearly 4.2 lakh students of Kerala's aided and government schools appeared for the maths paper at 2,945 centers. And this is how they were sitting. Proper social distancing being maintained, and all of them in fact wearing masks as well. Moving on now to the Navbharat Times. और यहाँ पर अगर सबसे फ्रंट पेज की खबर की बात करें तो बड़ी खबर है कि IGI पर तैनात CISF के 18 और जवानों में मिला है कोरोना वायरस। ये बड़ी खबर है। यहाँ पर एक दिन बाद ही हिंडन से उड़ान कैंसिल कर दी गई। 2 महीने बाद हिंडन से हुबली के बीच सोमवार से उड़ान शुरू हुई थी, लेकिन इसे मंगलवार को कैंसिल कर दिया गया। एयरलाइंस ने वजह बताई है कि गाइडलाइंस में 500 किलोमीटर से लंबी उड़ान पर रोक है। हिंडन से हुबली की दूरी 1500 किलोमीटर है। सवाल फिर उठे कि एक दिन उड़ानें क्यों अलाउ करी। 70 यात्रियों के साथ इमरजेंसी लैंडिंग हुई है। एयर एशिया की फ्लाइट को हैदराबाद हवाई अड्डे पर इमरजेंसी लैंडिंग करनी पड़ी। उसके अलावा दिल्ली में 7 दिनों में पहली बार नए मरीज जो है उनका आंकड़ा 500 के नीचे गया है। तो एक और बड़ी खबर है। और यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरह से 19 मई से लेकर 25 मई तक लगातार हर रोज 500 से ज्यादा केसेस दिखाई दे रहे थे दिल्ली में, जो नए केसेस थे। लेकिन अब 412 केसेस रिकॉर्ड हुए ट्यूसडे को, जो 19 मई से 25 मई का आंकड़ा देखें तो उसमें से सबसे कम है। और गाजियाबाद नोएडा से लगे दिल्ली बॉर्डर पूरी तरह से जाम नजर आए। आप देखिए, ये तस्वीर भी लगाई है फ्रंट पेज पर। यूपी गेट पर गाड़ियों की लंबी कतार। कितना ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक जो है ऑलरेडी शुरू हो गया है बॉर्डर एरियाज पर, उत्तर प्रदेश के खास करके। मजदूरों का दर्द देख कोर्ट ने कहा सरकारी प्रयास नाकाफी, केंद्र और राज्यों के प्रयास में खामियां हैं। दोनों मिलकर प्रवासियों की यात्रा, ठहरने और खाने की व्यवस्था करें, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है। और इलाज में जारी रहेगा HCQ का इस्तेमाल। वैक्सीन का ह्यूमन ट्रायल जल्द, ये ICMR का कहना है। लेकिन WHO ने भी एक चेतावनी दी है जो फ्रंट पेज पर मौजूद है। WHO ने चेतावनी दी है कि जिन देशों में कोरोना के मामले घट रहे हैं वे जल्द ही संक्रमण की दूसरी लहर के लिए तैयार रहें। उधर जो बैट वुमन के नाम से मशहूर हो चुकी चीन की वायरोलॉजिस्ट हैं, उन्होंने कहा है कि कोरोना वायरस महज एक शुरुआत है, समस्या अभी और बड़ा रूप ले सकती है। तो ये और भी एक बड़ी खबर है फ्रंट पेज पर। Let's now move on and get you the latest from the pink paper, the Economic Times. News that you need to know from the world of business and economy. And on Friday, the GDP data for the first quarter is going to come. And ahead of that, various rating agencies, institutions are coming out with their forecast for the GDP. SBI Research has also come out with a report, and that is something that the Economic Times this morning is leading with. The SBI Research says GDP to shrink 6.8% in FY21 after smart recovery in Q2 and much better Q3 and Q4. Very interesting news. So SBI Research is expecting that even though economic growth is going to be in the negative territory in the first quarter, Q2, Q3, Q4, second, third and fourth quarters could be much better. Economy may contract by over 40% in Q1. That is something very, very important, and this data will come this Friday. Expect another stimulus package later in the year. CRISIL has also predicted 25% contraction in the quarter. So the data that comes on Friday will be very important. CRISIL says we are going to see 25% contraction. SBI Research says over 40% decline in GDP can be expected. So this is the big story here. And then Carlyle weighs $1 billion bet on Axis Bank. Preliminary talks are going on. This is what Arijit Burman has reported. Deal likely to be in the form of primary issuance of shares. PE fund may end up owning 5 to 8% in this bank. Then another story here, Petronas eyes Acme solar assets. Malaysia's state-run oil and gas company Petronas is in talks to buy about 100 megawatt of solar assets from India's Acme Solar. Out of legal options, Vijay Mallya may seek asylum in the UK. Another important story here. Beleaguered businessman Vijay Mallya is understood to have recently filed an application seeking political asylum in the UK, said a top legal source close to the development. His lawyers had been working on the asylum route as a last resort. If his appeal challenging the extradition proceedings were rejected, this is what the sources have confirmed. Moving on. Day 2, airline operations were smoother, but Air India faces ire. More flights and destinations have been added. Then there is an interview with Minister of Labour and Employment, Santosh Kumar Gangwar, who says abolition of worker protection by some states won't be okayed. Government is looking to create electronic database of all the migrant workers. And you can get this entire interview on page number 6. Lastly, Uber lays off 600 people in India. Affected staff to receive payout for minimum 10 weeks. And Uber has laid off 600 people in India, part of a global retrenchment announced on May 18. All affected employees will receive payouts for a minimum of 10 weeks. Another important story. Lastly, Rajnath holds review meeting on Ladakh. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed national security on Tuesday amid the standoff in Ladakh, where thousands of troops have been deployed along the line of actual control after a series of intrusions by Chinese forces over the past month. So those are the headlines on the front page of the Economic Times. Let's talk about now the Delhi edition of the Times of India. My colleague Kangana is now joining us on the broadcast. Kangana, we've been talking about the heat wave in Delhi and NCR since past couple of days, and yesterday was the hottest region, hottest day as far as Delhi, NCR and some of the other areas in North India are concerned.
Well, of course, Hina, the scorching heat is continuing to pain Delhiites. Yesterday was recorded as the highest temperature, that was 46.7 degrees in the last 2 decades. The last time Delhi had seen this kind of a temperature was back in 2010 in May. So after almost 20 years, Delhi has seen such a temperature in May. That was one of the hottest days in May for 2 decades. Also, overall the world also, there were 15 hotspots that were recorded as the highest hotspots. Out of those, 10 were from India and 5 were from Pakistan, India becoming one of the hottest regions yesterday. Churu in Rajasthan had recorded almost 50 degrees, which is normally 7 degrees above normal temperatures. So that is the kind of heat waves that we are experiencing from the last couple of days. But what we can get a relief, what we are getting from the Met Department is the fact that we can get some relief post Thursday or Friday, when there will be some light showers followed by thunderstorm in the national capital.
All right, Kangana, appreciate you joining us with all of those details, and we are really hopeful that some relief comes for people of Delhi and other regions in North India, because temperatures are rising sharply on a daily basis. Moving on now to the Mumbai edition of the Times of India. The big story here on the front page is how Maharashtra is mulling reopening schools from June 15 after Chief Minister's prod to Education Department. Arunil, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast more on this. Arunil, good morning. I mean, will it be really safe to open schools at this point in time, or even consider opening schools when our cases in Maharashtra are inching, close to 50,000, over 50,000 in fact?
Well, that is the main question that arises over here. Speaking about cases, yesterday, highest number of deaths were recorded. Yesterday, 98 deaths were recorded in the state of Maharashtra. That is a very high number as compared to the other days, wherein around 60 to 70 deaths were usually recorded in the state of Maharashtra. So yes, the meeting was held between the chief minister and the several ministers, basically ministers and officials related to the education department in the state of Maharashtra. And they are mulling that by June 15th, which is basically the start of the academic year in the state of Maharashtra, is June 13th to 14th. So according to that, in at least in green zones, the places which are not much affected by the coronavirus, they are mulling to start the academic year. But how safe will that be? That is the big question that arises, because we have seen that with the movement of people from Mumbai and Pune to several other rural areas, basically which are green zones, the number of cases in the green zones have also seen an exponential growth. So that also needs to be taken into consideration. So the government is taking all these things into consideration. But at least with respect to Mumbai and Pune is concerned, we can expect the lockdown to be extended in these
Right.
two cities, because every day we have been seeing around 1,500 cases being recorded. Yesterday was slightly better, wherein
Okay.
around 1,002 cases were recorded in the state, in the city of Mumbai.
All right. Thank you very much, Arunil, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the Chennai edition of the Times of India. And here, the big story is, of course, the rising cases in Tamil Nadu, and most of them coming from Chennai. Now, it is reported that Chennai, a ticking time bomb, more tests must to defuse it. That's the big story. Expert panel has questioned daily case numbers. And as expert panel told the Chief Minister that Chennai was reporting the same numbers, probably because testing has been cut down. And corona carnage, it shows the various zones where maximum positive cases have been reported. Shabir, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast. Shabir, good morning. 500 new cases in Chennai, 9 more deaths take the Tamil Nadu's toll to 127.
Well, that's right. On a daily basis, Chennai is reporting at least 500 cases, and that is a huge cause of concern. Many experts have warned Tamil Nadu government that they should ramp up testing, but in a way, experts say that Tamil Nadu is not testing enough. As far as Chennai is concerned, the cases are multiplying in containment zones. The containment strategy isn't working, so there needs to be alternative plans for Chennai. Maximum focus should be on Chennai. But, the government seems to be looking at a different strategy. The health experts have warned the Tamil Nadu government that if there is no proper containment strategy as far as Chennai is concerned, then the cases may go up in the month of June. And the projections are at least 2 lakh people will get infected. So that is a huge number which will cripple the infrastructure, the medical infrastructure of the city. So it's a huge concern for the Tamil Nadu government. And now the health
Right.
experts have warned the Tamil Nadu government in yesterday's meeting. So it remains to be seen what the Tamil Nadu government is going to do in the days ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Shabir, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the Kolkata edition of the Times of India. And here, Kolkata picks up pieces a week after Ampan. Slowly and gradually, things are coming back to normal. But what is really important, and that can come as a relief for many people in Kolkata and West Bengal, is that the domestic air travel is going to begin from tomorrow here. Kolkata skies set to open up after COVID lockdown and Ampan fury. City airport to restart operations tomorrow with 10 flights. A big news here. Old terminal turns into 30,000 square feet quarantine facility. Then metro to start trials with staffers. Perhaps metro activity could also begin very, very soon. Tamal Saha is now joining us on the broadcast. Tamal, good morning. Now a tale of two cities. Most head back to life as they knew it. 1 lakh out of 33 lakh homes still wait for light after the storm.
Well, that's right, and it's still a work in progress. We know when you talk about districts, the state government power supply corporation, they are trying to do their best. They are trying to restore power. But when it comes to city, there are several patches in the city where there is no power supply. And given the fact that there had been massive trees which got uprooted on the cyclone day, which had taken down transformers, which had taken down grids and posts. disrupting the power supply. It would take some time for the restoration work. And until that happens, the state government is trying to give power backup through generators. But then, having said that, people are also running out of the patience at times and at places. Yesterday, there had been sporadic violence, which was which was reported from different parts of the city. One was quite serious, which was reported from Metia Bruce area in South Kolkata. So yes, the city is limping back to normalcy, but then it would take a while before it can finally say it is back to normal.
All right, Tamal, appreciate you joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the Bengaluru edition of the Times of India. There is some good news for the home buyers in Karnataka. The stamp duty has been cut from 5% to 3% for properties up to 35 lakh rupees. The Karnataka government has reduced the registration stamp duty from 5 to 3% for properties costing between 21 lakh to 35 lakh in a bid to give leg up to the ailing realty sector. So boost for home buyers there. Deepak Bopanna, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast. Deepak, the Times of India is also reporting that temples in Karnataka are set to open from 1st of June. Is it official now?
Yes, the Muzrai department yesterday met with the Chief Minister. The Minister for Muzrai, Kota Srinivas, yesterday made an announcement before the media that they have intentions of opening the temples by the 1st of June. Also, today, online Seva bookings will be made available for about 50 temples in the state. But of course, what's now become a controversy is that no official announcement has come in with regard to mosques or churches, and that's where some leaders of the minority community are now questioning this move, saying whether it's just going to be the temples that are going to be open and whether it's going to be biased. But of course, clarity yet to be issued.
All right, Deepak, appreciate you joining us with all of those details. We're now moving on to the latest news from around the world. Times Global is reporting WHO warns that first wave of COVID pandemic is not over. Top official says nations with declining cases may face a second peak as well. That's very, very important. As US toll nears 1 lakh, Trump allies berate Beijing, recognize Tibet as independent country, seeks Republican bill. And Britain trials Remdesivir as row over PM aid rages on. That's another story on this page. Then Times of India also has got a very interesting article by Arvind Panagria, professor of economics at Columbia University, noted economist, who says reforms in a COVID era, world trade will rise again. Here's how India can ready itself to take advantage. Very interesting article that you will like to read this Wednesday. Let's now get you the latest from the world of sports. My colleague Karishma is now joining us on the broadcast. Karishma, good morning. There's an interview with R. Sridhar. Can you bring to us the key highlights?
Well, yes, R. Sridhar is India's fielding coach, and in that interview with Times of India in Chennai, he has said that slowly and steadily, once a date is given by the BCCI or the government for a camp to be held, the Indian players are going to get together and start fielding exercises, but not directly with the cricket ball, but with the tennis ball, because if they start training after a gap of 12 to 14 weeks directly with the cricket ball, there is a scare of injuries in their hands, and that is why R. Sridhar in that interview has clarified that training is only going to begin in a smooth manner. Easy training is going to begin, and then gradually they will go on to the intense training that the cricketers are used to, because they do not want any injuries the moment cricketers start getting back into shape after a gap of 12 to 14 weeks. So that is one of the most important points that is there in that interview.
All right. Thank you very much, Karishma, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. As far as the world of entertainment is concerned, Delhi Times is everything that you need to know today. Bollywood joins hands with international celebs for 24-hour fundraiser, and Bollywood celebs like Karan Johar, Sonam Kapoor, Ahuja, Jacqueline Fernandez are going to join the big names from Hollywood for a fundraiser. TV actress Preksha Mehta commits suicide, lack of work being cited as caused by police. And self-help, fantasy and children's titles are the lockdown bestsellers. All of this you can get on this particular page. With this, it's a wrap. Thank you very much for staying with us here on the Newspaper Show.